Let's get into some NBA, brother. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers on the road tonight. They're playing incredible ball. Just this team does not lose very often, only 6 times this year. They're 29-13 ATS, Steve, which is, I mean, these are great numbers. Houston, they got Houston off of a loss. Does that worry you, or do you think this road team can just continue rolling?
I do think it's not a great spot for Cleveland just because it was somewhat of a high-profile game, I think, the other night in which they beat Phoenix. And keep in mind, they were definitely coming off a high-profile game before that at Minnesota. They were a road favorite and a home favorite, of course, in both, but still 2 spotlight Western Conference games. And now they play actually their 4th straight because if you keep in mind this little Western 4-game trip, they started off at Oklahoma City and lost that game. So it was really a focused bounce back against Minnesota and Phoenix. With Philly on deck on Friday, you could make an argument this is a little bit of a dangerous spot at Houston, maybe a sandwich situation. And it's interesting to point out the point spread record for Cleveland because, as I said earlier, good teams win by margin. And one of the reasons the Cavs are covering spreads is they win by margin over 9 points a game. So once again, it's either Cleveland minus the short number here or Houston money line. I think the Rockets actually could be a live dog here, +3. Probably not a bad look at +130 as well if you're going to go that way. And as far as the total goes, we have seen some sharp money on the under for what it's worth. 233 was the opener. It's now down to 229.5. And Cleveland, a very good offensive team, but they can play defense at times as well. That's why they've been so dominant this year, giving up just 111 points per game. But Houston, one of the best defensive teams in the league, just 108. So 233 was a very big number for two good defensive teams. I would agree with that move to the under 229.5. I think has some value.
Merril, let's race into the Boston LA Clippers game. Clippers, man, half their team is injured. 4 guys are day to day. They're still playing good ball. They won 4 or 5. They just lost their last game. Here they are, +10. There's a 10.5 on tap. 218. Boston's a juggernaut, but there's a lot of points, Steve. Where are you going?
Yeah, to put the injuries in perspective, Prez, overnight openers at some spots were as low as 5.5, 6 in this game. Now it's 11. The line is literally doubled. That's how banged up the Clippers are. Totals dropped from the 220-ish range down to like 218. But here's the thing: is I checked at least the 11:30 a.m. Eastern report. This will be updated throughout the day, but Al Horford questionable, Drew Holiday questionable for the Celtics. You got to wonder if they're kind of taking the night off as well. And Boston is such a tricky team to handicap. You talk about how good the Cavs are. Celtics are 30-13 as well. They're having a great season, but they're just 17-26. What a difference! 30-13 straight up, but just 17-26 against the spread. So what does that tell you? Well, they're winning a lot of games, but not covering the inflated lines. And this line, by default, has doubled today, so it's obviously inflated. I do think it's a tough game to handicap, not one I'll be involved with for that reason. But Boston, by the way, just won their second game this year by 40 points. They're one of only 2 teams, I believe, in the league to do that. So it's just feast or famine with them. It always comes down to the 3-point shooting. They average 49 3-point attempts a game, 91 field goal attempts, 49 threes. How insane is that? There are some teams that probably like 30 years ago didn't take 49 attempts all season, and the Celtics do it every game. By the way, the LA Clippers 3-point defense is one of the better in the league for what it's worth, and they will be shorthanded tonight. I know it seems obvious, but both teams kind of mail it in here. Limited lineups under 218 might be the safest play. Not a bad time to get on board. I've got strong best bets lined up for this week. And by the way, the last 7 Sundays, 18-2, 90% on best bets the last 7 Sundays for my clients. So you might want to pay attention. Yeah. Conference championship games are here on Sunday, so you might want to pay attention to that 18-2 run. NBA #1 all-time at WagerTalk, and we're full swing basketball right now. We're going to talk a couple games here in a moment. But once again, you get a full year for about $1 a play. Instant $811 discount with promo code SM365. Now, we have a 7-day for $77, or you can get the 1 year for $1 a play, promo code SM365. Details on my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com.